It seems to me that these people are perfectly willing to do everything except the thing that they should do, which is just cut the price. Like, that is the major impediment to the housing market right now. What's up, world? Welcome back to Canceled Thoughts. It's your boy Better Days here. For the overwhelming majority of Americans in this country, the American dream has gotten out of reach, and that's primarily as a consequence of the fact that home ownership is at the center of that dream, and homes have gotten completely unaffordable over the last few decades. And a lot of people are starting to pay attention to this because it seems like the macroeconomic situation in America right now is continuing to deteriorate, and
people are sick of it.
Home ownership is continuing to move further and further out of the reach of most people. And very recently, the Trump administration came up with the innovative idea of the 50-year mortgage. But before I get into what I really think about it, guys, if I, by the end of this video, earn you guys a subscription, do me a solid and like the video and subscribe to the channel, guys. It only takes a couple of seconds and it helps out more than you guys know. That being said, let's get right into it.
This morning, new backlash as the Trump administration moves forward with a plan to introduce 50-year mortgages.
It looks to be like the president's looking for a quick fix to a market that is fundamentally broken right now.
Over the weekend, Trump sharing this image comparing the proposal to the 30-year mortgage policies championed by FDR nearly a century ago.
The idea of the 30-year mortgage, even at its inception, and till this day, as a matter of fact, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. To spread out a loan over the lifespan of 30 years, to me, is one of the most ludicrous things ever. Because one, economies change and people lose jobs or whatever, so you're setting yourself up for failure if you're taking on a 30-year mortgage, because the likelihood of you actually paying off your house, especially with the amount of interest that you're going to end up having to pay off anyway, is very, very ludicrous to me.
That being said,
to then tack on 2 extra decades of that to the end of that 30-year mortgage, to me, is literally stupider than anything I've ever seen in my entire life. You won't even be able to pay off that house while you're living, okay? You're literally going to just keep paying whatever the fuck principal and interest that you're going to be paying your mortgage off or whatever your entire life until you get buried in the ground. And then after that, whoever you pass your house on to is going to then pick up that loan and start having to pay it as well, okay? Or the bank is just going to come back, take the house again, and sell it to the next sucker to do the exact same thing. This is not set up in any way, shape, or form to help you, okay?
The move could potentially kickstart the now stagnant real estate market. Homes are currently seeing the lowest turnover rate in 30 years, and the median age of first-time home buyers just hit an all-time high of 40 years old.
It's really difficult to see right now for younger borrowers how they are going to be able to afford a home.
A longer fixed-rate mortgage would lower monthly payments, but would also create a higher total cost because of all that interest over 5 decades. Take a $400,000 loan at 6% interest. Under a 30-year mortgage, the monthly payment would be just shy of $2,400. Under a 50-year loan, it drops to just over $2,100, a savings of nearly $300 a month. But over time, that savings is erased by a much larger interest bill, because while the total interest on a 30-year loan would be about $463,000, the interest on a 50-year loan would total more than $860,000.
That's literally one of the craziest things. That's not helping you whatsoever. So effectively, you're saving like $200 to $300 a month or whatever. And then over the span of that, you're going to end up paying an extra, basically double in 20 years in interest. That's literally a scam, okay? This is not going to jumpstart any housing market right now. People are not going to all of a sudden start buying houses because you say, oh, now you can spread out your loan over 50 years instead of 30 years. So we're going to go from screwing you to really, really screwing you.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Nobody is being fooled by this, okay? And the fact that they think people are this stupid to me is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. But then there's also this element to this, okay? The way the math breaks down here to me looks flat out like a scam, okay? Let me break this down, all right? First and foremost, you don't necessarily ever own your home, okay? You're just renting it out from the government, because your property taxes, if you stop paying those bitches, you'll find out very quickly how much you own your home, okay? That's number one. But number two, with the way these loans are set up, okay, if you start paying off a loan on let's say a 30-year mortgage, okay? The first like 10 to 15 years of you paying off that loan or whatever, it's all completely going straight to interest.
Period.
The amortization schedules of this, and if you don't know what an amortization schedule is, just go look it up really quick, okay? It's the way they schedule your mortgage off to be paid, okay? The amortization schedules have it to where they're front loading the entire payment history for you, okay? The little that you're paying off of the principal, which is the amount that you actually get loaned, that you actually needed to be able to buy the house, you don't pay off really any of that until the overwhelming majority of the interest is already paid off. Then you keep on paying the rest of the principal throughout the life of that loan. So you're effectively going to end up paying an extra God knows how much, like $200,000 to $300,000 if you take out a 30-year mortgage, okay? Pretty much what's happening with this entire situation here is every single person, the government is getting theirs, the home insurance companies are getting theirs, the banks who are loaning you out the money, they're getting all made whole while screwing you, the homeowner who actually bought the house, in the ass. That's essentially what this is, okay? It's a complete and utter scam for anybody to take on a 30-year mortgage. Not to mention, they're now trying to screw you over even more by adding 2 extra decades. So you see how the math breaks down here. An extra $400,000 over the life of a loan. Like, what do you think this is? Do they really think Americans are this stupid?
Including longtime allies of President Trump are not on board with the idea. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, quote, "It will ultimately reward the banks, mortgage lenders, and home builders, while people pay far more in interest over time and die before they ever pay off their home, in debt forever, in debt for life."
And the White House has not yet explained how it would get around the Dodd-Frank Act, which effectively bans mortgages longer than 30 years.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get past that, and that's probably the only real good saving grace legislation that's going to avoid all of this. But going back to the MTG aspect of this, and I don't necessarily even want to make this a political video or whatever, but I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is setting herself up to be the next, or the first female president, but the next president. I think she's setting herself up to run in 2028 for the presidency, and I think she has a real good shot of winning right now, okay? Because a lot of what she's saying here is really the right stuff. She has the interest of the public at hand. She knows exactly what the pulse of the actual American population is at this point in time. She's going against Israel because we don't necessarily like Israel, and the fact that they're completely kind of seemingly in control of our government, that doesn't necessarily make any sense. She's going against this because this doesn't necessarily help homeowners out whatsoever. It's basically, like I said earlier, it's completely screwing the average home buyer. There's literally no way around this. And I, for once in my life, would just like to see a president who has the best interests of the actual population at heart instead of their own self-interest. Because I personally think the only reason that the federal government right now is propping up the housing market is because people like Trump themselves have and it's a conflict of interest in my opinion, but they have massive incentive to keep the housing market propped up. Trump himself owns a majority of his properties in New York. He owns some property in Florida, I believe. If the housing market and property values start going down, Trump sees his own wealth decrease as a consequence of that. And I don't necessarily think he wants to see that whatsoever. And I wouldn't want to see it either if I'm being 100% honest and I had the power to be able to do that. But you got elected because we thought as a public that you had our best interests at heart. Clearly, you don't necessarily have that, and you just want to continue to enrich yourself and enrich your own buddies. And I really regret voting for Trump. And the way that I've been seeing this first year in particular manifest itself, I voted for Trump. I'm going to openly say that. But I really regret it because a lot of the stuff that he ran on is stuff that he's going completely against. Ending the wars, especially, and he's ended a few wars, so I'm not necessarily really mad about that. But the fact that he's continuing to just wholeheartedly full freight support Israel and send them billions and billions of dollars when he ran on a platform of America first, to me, doesn't necessarily make any sense. And a lot of people on the right are starting to see things how I see it as well, because they're like, yo, what is this incestuous relationship that we have with Israel? If you're a Jewish person and you want to support Israel or whatever, cool. You go do that. Why are American tax dollars being sent to the tune of billions and billions of dollars over to Israel, and our own infrastructure in this country is crumbling at the moment? We have some of the poorest people we've ever had in this country currently right now, and it seems to be no end in sight. What is going on here? But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this entire situation. Do you guys think the idea of a 50-year mortgage is a good idea? And why is it, as a matter of fact, do you guys think that these people think we're so stupid stupid to where we don't necessarily think even about the long run. The problem with homes right now, it is not the fucking interest rate. It is not the length of the loans. It is the price of the homes. It seems to me that these people are perfectly willing to do everything except the thing that they should do, which is just cut the price. Like, that is the major impediment to the housing market right now. It's literally cutting the price. And then
to add insult to injury,
they're trying to get you to make a decision that's going to be life altering at a time where the economy is completely bad. And a lot of people right now are sitting there not even knowing if they're going to have a job because everybody knows that AI is coming for everybody and their mama's job. Like, how does this make any sense? Like, the fact that these things are just happening simultaneously to me is one of the craziest things I've ever seen, okay? Like, we are really, truly living at very, very interesting times. But I've gone on too long of a tangent, guys. Just let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me on this video. You guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with me, and I really do appreciate you.
If you liked what you heard today, do me a solid and like the video, share the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Those things really do help out the channel a lot, guys. And if you didn't like what you heard, thanks for allowing me to occupy your time. Consider leaving a comment in the comments down below, letting me know exactly what it was that you disagreed with, and maybe we could talk about it. Either way, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for pressing play on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.